had a salon,
Yeah.
and I had a captive audience in my chair, every
Mhm.
day, all day long. And so my clients would come in and sit down, and they would I'm like, what's new, what's happening in your world? And they'd tell me, and then they'd say, what's going on with you? And I'm like, well, you're not going to believe what I learned about myself this week.
Mhm.
Because I started to tell them, like, I was abused, it was awful, and here
Mhm.
I was, and now here I am. And they would say, well, first of all, you're so strong, because I
Mhm.
never knew.
Mhm.
And second of all, I would say, here's what I learned. I learned
Mhm.
about myself that I'm emotionally unavailable. And
Mhm.
they're like, what does that mean? I'm like, I'm unwilling to say what I mean what I say, and not say it meanly. I'm
Mhm.
unwilling to actually share what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking
Mhm.
for fear of being vulnerable, for fear of not having the upper hand, for fear of
Mhm.
not being in control.
Right.
And they're like, well, how are you like overcoming that? And now,
Mhm.
mind you, at the time, I'm whispering all this because even if you got to whisper, you got to use your voice, right?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm practicing being vulnerable. And
Yes.
at the time, I couldn't even pronounce the word. It was like, right?
Right.
Stumbling over it.
Right.
And I said, and I started to shift the way I spoke to my dad, because
Yeah.
then I realized, oh, got it. This manipulation is very familiar.
Mhm.
So then I started to ask my dad, are you asking me to do something? Are you trying to manipulate me into doing it?
Mhm.
And he's like, what? Like he couldn't even pronounce the word manipulation like I could pronounce
Mhm.
vulnerability. And he's like, I don't even know what that means. And so when I would share this with my hair clients,
Mhm.
they would then go away 4 to 6 weeks, come back, and they're like, oh my gosh, because of what you said, that shifted my relationship with my team at work, my boss, my
Right.
kids, my spouse, my
Yes.
parents.